So, colleagues, welcome to ADC 2021, and it's great to see so many of you here again, and it's a very welcome interlude, I would suggest, from the Teams platforms that we're all now very familiar with using. The last 18 months have undoubtedly been the worst in our association's history and the industry's history. Never before have so many of our colleagues been placed in jeopardy, not only employment-wise, but for those who had to operate throughout the pandemic as well. The cost has been horrific in terms of jobs, terms and conditions, health and mental well-being for everyone. From our association's perspective, we've lost more than 2,000 flying members and the income that they provided. We've been forced to reduce staffing levels, re-examine just about everything that we do, and re-budget accordingly. Nobody could have written a script for this and what has transpired. It's been a crisis so deep that not a single person in our community has been left unaffected in some shape or form. And in times of crisis, you learn very quickly what people are made of. And I've seen the best and the worst of all sides of this. But let's focus on the positives. For you're surrounded by people that when the chips were down, stood up on behalf of their colleagues and delivered when it mattered. While the overall results would vary by company, every rep has played a role when called upon. Because this is what we are about, delivering for our community when it matters most. The role played by our NEC was intense. It was rapidly approving funding for new working practices, assisting our company councils, supporting our staff, forging new and necessary relationships with all government departments, with regulators, consulting on or constructing emergency budgetary measures, lobbying politically as well when necessary. And in my life, I've never actually worked harder without seeing the front of an EasyJet aeroplane. The challenges faced by our association in the last 18 months have been the greatest test of resilience in our history, and I'm sure Eric would be proud of us. And I truly hope that the people in this room can reflect on it in years to come as the low point in the aviation industry and one that was never repeated. And so here we are. Yes, there are battle scars, people are weary, and we may actually see some further restrictions going forward, but we're all here. What we have achieved throughout this pandemic period is bordering on miraculous. Some of the agreements that were negotiated were outstanding. The work done with by our redundancy assistance group and our membership services teams, and in fact all the staff within BALPA, in assisting our colleagues, our unemployed colleagues, has been commended internationally. In fact, some of our international colleagues have even adopted those practices going forward, and we've made new relationships with them as well. Our standing within our industry peers is now very substantial indeed, and we have punched well above our weight and are acclaimed for it. In fact, our harshest critics appear to be some of those within our own association, which we can live with. But we should not be ashamed to give ourselves a collective pat on the back for all of this, because everyone in this room deserves it. So over to you guys, well done. So, what's next then? So we have created a leaner, more efficient association from which we can build on going forward. And the considerable efforts of our org team, both staff and NEC, have not only kept us going, but we've developed a plan to take us into the future, providing a modern membership service which from early 2022, I should say, will be run from a new office with upgraded IT systems and new working practices while retaining resource for our company councils and reps as well. And it's not even that far away from our existing building, so it's Heathrow 1 we're going to. The work of our redundancy assistance group will continue, but it will refocus its priorities into bringing our displaced members back into the fold. And this will complement our MAX team work in recognition in airlines that hitherto haven't had any union recognition. And we will boost our membership levels up again to the levels that we enjoyed 2 years ago. Our flight safety team will continue their excellent work utilising external resources when necessary to make sure that we retain at the forefront of safety-related issues, including fatigue and health and safety. And we've been collaborating also with our EU colleagues on licensing matters, and will continue to push for solutions in that arena. And I also expect that the new environmental group will also grow in prominence as we look responsibly at the industry's future in the net zero arena. Our industrial processes will be subject to review. While our national officers have delivered enduring service throughout the pandemic, it is clear that some divisions have arisen on strategy and delivery between our company councils. So we need to learn from those mistakes and build improvements going forward. A comprehensive review of the good and the bad throughout the crisis will be conducted. And this will be driven by you. Our SFD meetings have always proved productive over the years, but they are also due a refresh. So you will help shape the future industrial landscape going forward. And we will be investing in rep and staff training in a variety of areas to give our entire team the best possible tools to meet the threats from an increasingly vociferous airline management. And we have a new democratically elected General Secretary in Martin Chalk, who has an accomplished background on the international stage, who will help the NEC develop and deliver on strategy. And I know many of you have already met him. Those of you who haven't, well, we have 24 hours for that process to take place, and I'm sure if you haven't met him by the end of tonight, well, we will sort that out for sure. And we will shortly then welcome new members to the NEC, and they have big shoes to fill. And while we acknowledge that the governing body of our association is quite often painted as the pantomime villain in our activities, I can assure you that the NEC has coped admirably with a workload bordering on ridiculous over the last 18 months. So we will integrate our new members, and we will provide training and resource to them that was not previously enjoyed. And we will build an even stronger team fit to face the challenges ahead. So we would take what we have learned in recent times and put it to good use. But to do that, we need the cooperation of everyone. So a more efficient, upskilled, higher profile BALPA lies ahead, providing a membership service that will be unrivaled within this industry. And this is all perfectly achievable, but to do it requires the commitment and the buy-in of all stakeholders. And that starts in this room. So you have to ask yourselves the question, are we ready for it? Finally, we have Rachel and Sarah with us today as guest speakers, and I've been warned on pain of death that I have to give them a mention in the opening speech. We've all been operating in silos for the last few months, and what they intend to do is reintroduce us to different working practices and socialisation skills. And I hope that you embrace what they have in store for us and take it in the spirit that it's intended. So we're all looking forward to that, I'm sure. So thank you, everyone, and enjoy your conference.